Ooh, you look so educated.
All right, hi everybody. Welcome to Friday's Q&A with the Edge team. Uh, Alan, one of the developers, and today the first time, right?
Second.
Second. Oh,
Yeah.
I missed one.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Thanks for watching.
Well, I was probably traveling, but
Sure. He hangs out in the Bahamas all the time.
yeah, well,
He's our hardest working developer. He sits on the beach and creates magical portals for us to work through.
we have a lot of fun.
Yes, we
So, today our Q&A is going to be a little less technical, and Jess and I are going to try to have a little bit of fun.
Yeah, of course.
But I guess we could start off kind of our most recent news as far as new features and whatnot. I know something just came out that you were excited about.
Yes, I'm a big fan of Digibyte. And happy to finally see Bitcoin Gold be a part of our team. And then Vertcoin. That one's pretty exciting too, and Vertcoin seems pretty happy about it as well.
Right on. So I'm going to be horrible here because I'm not familiar with Vertcoin. So tell me a little bit about it. Why are you excited?
Vertcoin has always kind of been able to help us promote Edge, and they've been always very much interested in being a part of our wallet. But they are a decentralized peer-to-peer.
Okay.
They are a trustless, scalable, censorship-resistant, Lightning-enabled system that's easy to use. I personally don't hold any Vertcoin, but I hope to be holding Vertcoin in my Edge wallet.
Right on. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. So, centralist.
Yeah, but I heard you have Bitcoin Gold, don't you?
Actually, I don't. I don't think.
No?
No.
You didn't have it during the fork?
Well, okay, so this is going to go back to something we were talking about earlier because the fork happened right when I started.
Okay.
So I came on board, and so one of the things I find interesting with what Jess does all of our operations. She's basically the backbone of the company. And what's it like dealing with a company that functions on cryptocurrency and how that relates to, running the business?
I think you got away from you having a forked coin, but
Well, we're going to get to that from one of your answers.
Okay, well, definitely running a business on cryptocurrencies is really fun. I want to tell you that primarily the one that we use is Bitcoin. One Bitcoin equals one Bitcoin, by the way. But I did want to let you guys know that it has its challenges. Sometimes figuring out a balance sheet isn't always the easiest thing, or having an employee that's happy to take cryptocurrency, especially when it's really volatile that day or it's dropping 1,000 or so. But our payrolls are set. We use the most central number for the day when we set our payrolls, and people get Bitcoin right now as payment for their services for Edge, which is really fun and exciting for some, but I had a friend that she turned down the job at Edge because she was scared of jumping into cryptocurrency like that. So aggressively, she said.
Well, I mean, back to why don't I have it from the fork? I might. I haven't looked. It just depends on when I first started. Okay, I'm going to get paid in Bitcoin. This is cool. But I've got bills that I got to pay immediately. So unfortunately, I wasn't holding a lot of cryptocurrency. I'd get paid. I would have to liquidate it because Visa doesn't take Bitcoin yet.
Yeah.
So that's something. Change.org, start a petition, get Visa to accept Bitcoin payments, and that would make my life a lot easier. But
We can all pay our bills.
exactly. So
How do you currently pay your bills?
with fiat?
Oh.
So I mean, it's mostly American Express and Visa get a lion's share of my money.
Oh,
But
that's pretty.
one day, maybe not.
Yeah.
But yeah, when I first started, I wasn't holding. So when the fork happened, my wallet was probably empty, so I didn't get anything. So I haven't had a chance to check.
Well, I'm a holder of Bitcoin Gold, and I have some. So
Right on.
I have some for both of us. I'll take care of you if we go hard.
I like it. I like it. All right, so we have our new coins in. This is a big feature that I know I really like that came out, and it's basically showing the fiat value. And part of it is looking at your wallet and seeing this crazy decimal and going, okay, well, how much do I have? Because I need to sell some to pay Visa. And being able to look in and see, okay, that's, I've got X amount of dollars worth of Bitcoin, X amount of dollars worth of Bitcoin gold, whatnot. Being able to toggle that back and forth, that was a big feature that I was really stoked that got in.
Oh, very cool.
So those kind of the big news that we've had for the last release, I guess.
Yeah, and we have a lot of Digibyte fans, and I'm very happy to tell you that they've been promoting us across multiple platforms. So thank you, girls. And really excited to have Digibyte in there. Definitely like it, especially with the DigiShield, which it has protection from malicious attacks. So a lot of different coins, including Zcash, Bitcoin Gold, Dogecoin, have DigiShield already implemented in there.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Alrighty, so should we look at some of our...
Yeah, let's look at some of these questions.
Yeah, so here's the thing. This is a live Q&A. Feel free to, whatever platform you're watching us on, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, send us a message, send us a question. We do also get questions after the show's live, so we try to circle back to those in subsequent weeks. So we're kind of we have some talking points, but it's all part of the ramble. So looking through some of the questions, is there?
I definitely want to know your personal opinion on what are the biggest threats to Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies as of late.
Okay, we had a really good discussion about this morning upstairs, and the consensus was the threats are really outside of like governments trying to shut it all down, which part of the whole thing is that's not going to happen. William made some good points that if governments had stable currencies that didn't inflate, well then maybe we wouldn't need the alternative. But the crackdowns on a lot of KYC, I think, is not a threat, but it's an inconvenience. And then some of these quick payment things like Venmo. So as you can see by the gray, I'm a little bit older.
And you were just telling me a really awesome story about Venmo.
Yeah, so it kind of cracked me up because I had to get a Venmo account recently so I could get some payments. And I'm back here in San Diego while my wife's working over in the Bahamas. And apparently she went out to dinner the other night with a couple of her girlfriends from work. And I found out simply because she paid in credit card so we can get the miles, and they Venmo'd me money for their share. So I get 2 text alerts on my phone. So-and-so just sent you money. So-and-so just sent you money. I was like, oh, okay. Guess they all went out to dinner, because that's usually how that works. But so that kind of rapid adoption of, hey, it's really easy for me to just send cash, where PayPal, I don't know, even though, isn't Venmo owned by PayPal? Or
Yeah.
It just seems different. And
yeah, I think it's a quicker, easier peer-to-peer connection versus PayPal, where you should actually sign on and you have to do a little bit more authentication and who you're sending it to and have an email address associated.
Yeah, so just,
I'm not personally a fan of Venmo, but that's only because I was selling cryptocurrency on there and they banned me.
Oh.
I know, it's one of the rules. Don't do it.
Okay, that's interesting. But as far as threats, I mean, I still see crypto as something that is going to evolve. We're at the stages of, when I try to explain it to people that don't know anything about it, I'm like, think about when Diners Club came out with the first credit cards. And people are like, what's this plastic thing that's money? I don't get it. Mm-hmm. And so, now where are we now? Everybody's got debit cards. Hardly anybody has cash.
Yeah.
The whole bit. So when it eventually evolves to the point where it becomes the replacement and is fast for those quick transactions, I think that's,
And you don't think that maybe Bitcoin or some kind of wallet could do the same thing that Venmo does, but without the fees as high? Or would it just not be as applicable to people that don't have an interest in cryptocurrency?
I think we need to get the interest there. It's the whole chicken and the egg thing. Like, I would have easily just have gotten Bitcoin payments from my wife's friends.
And happily taken them.
And happily taken them if they were crypto people. So it's finding the crypto people right now and finding the places that take it and really driving that interaction. And, it's now back to where it's not painful, where last year when we had that huge spike,
Oh, yeah.
the fees were outrageous and the whole bit. So it really wasn't that usable at that point. But that'll circle us back to something that you brought up earlier today with the price. So let's
Oh yeah,
talk
we
about
were
that
just
real
talking
quick.
about the price last year. Today was $4,356 for one Bitcoin, and a lot of people, including Fast Money and CNBC and all these media outlets, are consistently talking about how Bitcoin's dead and how Bitcoin's lost its value. And even when I go and speak to people about Bitcoin, oh, didn't it do really bad? And it's just like, well, I want you guys to really analyze a big picture. If you see something going really, really well, do you think it's going to stay really, really well, or do you think it's going to even itself out? You know, it's natural economics. You know, you go through these things and consistently in life, and we see things that enhance. Like we have Tesla; they did so well. Then the Tesla CEO does something bad and says something bad, and the Tesla stock drops. Not because of Tesla, but because somebody said something bad. And I almost feel like that's the same way with Bitcoin. The minute somebody starts opening their mouth and saying something bad about it, sometimes you see a fluctuation in price. And it's pretty normal because people are so adapted to following what media says and following everything behind the media and putting their full trust in the media, which is kind of scary because the media is not always right, for one. For two, typically they're fluffing or fudding is what a lot of the people in the crypto industry is saying. They don't really know what they're talking about, and they consistently make predictions on things that they really can't even begin to fathom.
Right on.
No offense.
Oh, I'm not. I'm
No,
I'm not in the media
out there.
Oh. Yeah. So an interesting thing with that, because the year before Bitcoin was only at about 1,000.
Yeah.
So if you
Or
really look
less
at
than.
it over 2 years, it's increased sixfold. So we've had that huge spike last year around November through December, and then the correction,
Yeah.
and it's up.
Yeah, but all the articles during that time was, you're missing out. You're missing out. Bitcoin's going crazy. Bitcoin's doing this. So all these people that had the fear of missing out, FOMO, and they ended up going out and investing at 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I even had people investing over that. But at the same point, now they're upset because they're half lost, So they're like, where's my money at?
Yep.
Bitcoin's more of a long-term hold. If you stay in the game and you hold still and you're playing with money that's not going to be something that you're paying your credit card bills with, or you're going to be doing something else that's fundamentally really important for you, it's a really good investment for your future.
This is not official investment advice. We
This
are
is
not.
not
We
official.
we are not financial advisors.
But at the same point is, if you're going to invest into a 401k, maybe you can throw a couple dollars into Bitcoin every month and just try and do the same thing.
Well, that's what I'm actually trying to do now. So huge soccer fan, and the World Cup's coming to the U.S. and North
Great.
America in 8 years, and so I'm trying to set aside $200 a month, and rather than put it in a separate bank account or anything else, when I get paid, I just don't liquidate $200 worth of it, and I put that in a specific Bitcoin wallet, and the goal is to have that pay for taking the entire month off and traveling the country when the Cup comes in 8 years. And if it continues to go up from what we've seen sixfold in 2 years, and it does that across 8, I could, oh, wow.
Yeah. I'm just showing Alan over here, a Japanese soccer player star. Honda paid in crypto to promote the exchange. So if you guys haven't seen, BitPoint hired a very large Japanese soccer player. I'm going to probably slaughter his name, Shinini Kagawa, who made a deal with GMO Internet Group. He had signed a contract with them to do corporate branding and products for the products as the group decided to change the businesses overseas. So I thought that it was kind of cool that you said that you were a soccer fan and now you have a soccer player over here in Japan that's pushing BitPoint.
Well, that's the thing, is we gain traction in media. So today we were talking earlier, I'm a big fan of the Joe Rogan podcast. And someone was on there talking about basically a Twitter equivalent that is immutable because it's on the blockchain, and you just kind of pay a tiny little amount to tweet, but people can't get censored and
Or
turned
banned,
off.
shadow banned is what we're having huge problems with.
Right. So
Get rid of all these bots.
Yeah. Yeah, nobody's going to pay to have their bots be, you know.
Right.
So that's interesting, but getting those kind of mentions and having those discussions in popular media formats where maybe the general audience isn't crypto geeked out and they're curious about it. So that actually comes back to, there was another a question from somebody asking about favorite recommended Bitcoin documentary favorite Bitcoin documentary for somebody wanting to learn more about cryptocurrencies in general.
Yeah, mine is probably, it depends. Honestly, I would definitely put somebody in a list of people that either understood Bitcoin or people that didn't understand Bitcoin and they're just becoming familiarized with it. For anybody that's looking for a good podcast, Andreas is my favorite. I have everybody that's a newbie to Bitcoin. I make them subscribe to him. I turn on their YouTube, I make them look up his name, and I push the subscribe button for them because I fundamentally think that he is a very level-headed gentleman that knows how to explain it to people with a very articulate way of thinking and people with very simple-minded ways of thinking. And he's able to translate everything into English where you can actually understand it.
Right on.
Did you have one?
I do, and part of it is I like funny as well. So
Okay.
I dug on the one Bitcoin documentary that I saw on Showtime. I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, but it's on the Showtime on demand. But I thought it was absolutely hysterical and spot on when John Oliver did the half hour on cryptocurrency.
Oh, yeah.
And one of the best takeaways I took from that I try to explain to people when they say, well, can't this thing get hacked? And, what does it take? And I'm like, you got to understand the math. The equivalent is if somebody wanted to take a chicken McNugget and reverse engineer a chicken. And I just thought, okay, yeah, that's how hard it is to...
Isn't Chicken McNuggets already reverse engineered?
No. You build a chicken out of the Chicken McNugget. That's the reverse. So
Okay. I think
but-
they're already messed up.
But I just thought that one John Oliver episode was fantastic because it did kind of explain a good amount of what cryptocurrencies are, what some of the pitfalls are, the warning of people.
Did he use Beanie Babies?
I don't remember if he used Beanie Babies. He might have. I'll have to go back and rewatch it.
Oh, John Oliver is great, though.
Yeah,
He's
well-
one of my favorite late night hosts.
Yeah, it's always a good laugh. And when I saw that episode, I was like, wow, they really did the research. So that I thought was pretty cool. So that one, like I said, the one on Showtime. And the one on Showtime's a little bit older because they're talking with someone who's just got his mining rig at the house. And, they were making multiple Bitcoins a day.
Oh, wow.
So, I mean,
Where were they living?
Times is a little bit different now.
Tell me how much their electricity bill was.
All right, so we got another question. What's it like working for a crypto startup versus a traditional company job?
I want to ask you that first.
Well, I love working at this company. I've been here over a year now, and that's actually a record. I usually don't stick around places for
It's
longer than
me,
a year.
huh?
It's absolutely you.
I figured. I pay you, so you have to
Well,
stay.
yes, you are in charge of my money.
Almost. I don't touch his private keys because he holds those securely on Edge Wallet.
Yes, exactly.
Himself.
Yep. And then I give the Edge wallet to my wife, as all good husbands do. Now, what I really like about the startup environment is it's also in a fledgling industry. Mm-hmm. So there's so much to learn every day.
Oh, yeah.
And I always feel a little bit guilty when I'm on the show here because it's about once a month, and usually I'm with William, who is staggeringly brilliant, and so I get to learn a lot, every day, both about the industry and the whole concepts of, because I didn't go to school for finance either. I went to art school to paint album covers, and they stopped making albums. So I mean, we've gone in a totally different direction career wise, but. It's similar to working in a lot of other startups. I mean, everybody wears a lot of hats. You've got 5 jobs within the company probably,
Mm-hmm.
and
How about? Yeah.
marketing, operations, all kinds of stuff. But the only challenge initially was just getting set up to go, okay, I'm getting paid in crypto. How do I make this work within my life to make sure bills get paid and things like that.
Yeah.
But once that came about and got settled in, and I had an exchange that I could, had a relationship with and was able to sell my paychecks.
Sell your crypto.
Yep.
Yeah, personally, myself, I've been with a lot of startups, and I really enjoy startups because I like to wear a lot of hats. I am power hungry. I definitely like to take control of a lot of things. I know if you haven't noticed. I kind of own things. And I think that in startups, there's a lot of room for ownership as far as roles and multiple roles, and people really do appreciate it. I've also worked with companies that have been incorporated for over 15 years and watched the relationships between employees and superiors. And I've always kind of like snarled at it in a way, because sometimes people feel as like, I'm already like an official company. You have a role to do. You're going to do your role. Oh, you're done with your role. I'm going to add more onto your role. Instead of, hey, we're all a team here. We're going to work together. Instead of itemizing priorities, they itemize roles and tasks. And I've never been those kind of people in a company. So I always thought that working with startups was the easiest thing for me, because I like to take on a lot of tasks, but I like to work as a team with them. So if maybe I didn't understand something or I couldn't get something done, I can go back to the team and make it known. And I think that sometimes working in a regular traditional company, they don't offer that same kind of bring your thoughts to the table, because we really don't care.
Yeah, that is one of the nice things about a really small team. And also, we're lucky we have a really good team.
Oh, great team.
Our CEO, Paul, is the Energizer Bunny. Sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night and I just, hop on the computer real quick, and he's up.
Yep.
And he's working all the time. So when you have leadership like that, it kind of inspires the team to also be working all the time as well. So we have a question from JC on YouTube. So many people want to join a crypto job, but what are good ways to create your own crypto job work?
Is that like a developer work and being hired out for crypto?
Yeah, or if you want to work, I'm going to interpret it as you want to get involved with crypto somehow related to your job.
Or a company pays you in crypto?
I mean,
there could be a lot of ways to translate this
right.
question, JC.
Yeah, so we're going to take a couple stabs at it, and hopefully we come close to answering it. But one way to do is start, if you're within a business where you can control how things are paid, start advertising that you accept Bitcoin and see if, that brings in the crypto people.
I do know JC only accepts Bitcoin, though. He doesn't like any other cryptocurrency.
Okay.
Yeah. He's a very strong, adamant believer of Bitcoin, which we very much appreciate.
Okay. So you, okay.
But yeah, I start advertising that you're accepting Bitcoin for work. Maybe get on Reddit. Start socializing on Twitter. Starting to meet people in the network, in the industry. If you're trying to accept it for work, you need to find a company that's trying to pay it for work. So I know Fiverr is a website that you can go with double R's, and they don't accept cash, but sometimes you can get to know some of their people on their team, and they might accept Bitcoin for tips, or maybe do a job for you later on and accept Bitcoin. So maybe that would be a good way to introduce yourself or show off your skills or abilities, and then try and revert back to those people and reverse market it.
Yeah, and if you're a developer, I mean, look to work within cryptocurrency companies, or if you're entrepreneurial. And if you're a developer, you're always, at least I know from my experience as a developer, you're trying to learn new things all the time. Give yourself a project. Come up with an idea that would be good for a smart contract, and dive in and try to go ahead and write one and see how that works out, and could that be turned into your own startup. Another thing is there's lots of Bitcoin meetups. So look around and see if there's one in your area and go, because you're going to find like-minded people that will help give you a much better insight into what you want to do, because you'll be able to have a conversation versus us trying to take a stab in the dark into answering the question here thoroughly. But yeah.
Maybe find bounties too. I believe that some crypto projects are hiring out for bounties. So if you're a developer or an engineer, you have the ability to apply for those bounties or, do the work and see if they'll pay you back in crypto, which most likely they will if they're a crypto project.
Yeah. So there's a few avenues there without knowing your specific situation. If you're a developer, if you're a marketer, if you're an entrepreneur, there's all different ways to go at the at that goal of working within crypto. So let's see. We're in our last 4 minutes here.
I have a question. What events are we going to next?
Oh, cool.
So we have a ticket for Paul to go to DevCon 4 in Prague, so he will be there. Consensus Singapore, he will be attending as well. LA Bit Conference, we have on the books. World CryptoCon in Vegas, Paul will be speaking on the final day. We as well have the Texas Bitcoin Conference, which will be in Austin, and I'll be attending that one. Hopefully, Alan, but I doubt he'll want to leave his beautiful Bahamas to come to Austin.
Unfortunately, that weekend we actually have guests that are coming out to visit. So
yeah, if I can only be a guest coming out to visit the Bahamas.
You've been invited.
I have now.
Yes. So, yeah, those are what five up and coming conferences in the next
definitely.
2 months.
And we are still looking and talking to some other people about getting involved in some of the projects and the conferences that they have coming up. So maybe some more to date.
Right on. All right.
I did want to let you guys know, if you guys have any questions or concerns about the wallet, you can always send emails to info@edge.app. Edge.app is our website. edge.app. You can download our application. You can get our iOS version. You can check out what the team looks like. You can read some of our blogs that a lot of our developers and business ambassadors write. So it's really good. Find a way to find out about us.
Yep, and we do this every Friday at noon Pacific time. So if you've seen this not during our normal show time and you have questions, feel free to put them in the comments sections. Send them, like Jess said, through email, Twitter, Telegram.
Yep.
So.
And we're always active on Twitter, so make sure you tag us and say hi.
Right on.
We'll say hi back. You guys have a good one?
Yep. Thank you all for tuning in.
Bye.